What's the deal, baby? You already know. Big boss dog. Can't pull through the door to talk this boxing. What's good with you? So, I want to talk about George Kambosos, Vasily Lomachenko. I read a news article. I'm posting a link in the description. It was talking about how they may fight early next year in Australia. And IBF belt may be on the line for that particular fight. Now, those of you who don't know, George Kambosos was a unified champion at 135, so was Lomachenko. He used to be. They were both previous champions. And they're both getting the opportunity again to be a champion at 135. Overall, to keep it 1,000, I like the fight. But at the same time, I think Lomachenko dominates George Kambosos. Right? I think it's a total domination. I don't see this being a close fight. I see ways Kambosos can win. But, like I said, I would favor Vasily Lomachenko in this fight. It should be relatively easy for him. He should be able to just outclass George Kambosos. You know what I mean? Just dominate him. You know what I mean? But like I said, I do see ways that George Kambosos can win this fight. He got to be able to make it a rough, rugged fight. You know what I mean? With Lomachenko. He's going to have to come forward against Lomachenko. Lomachenko kind of struggle with guys who come forward and don't give him time to collect data, right? Also, George Kambosos, he has a little power on him. Vasily Lomachenko doesn't like power. You know what I mean? It like do something to him, So Kambosos cannot allow Vasily Lomachenko to collect data. He cannot give Vasily Lomachenko that opportunity, right? Kambosos, I'm just gonna keep it real. Kambosos got to fight a flawless fight to come out and get his hand raised in this fight. But they are fighting in Australia. If that's the case, that's what the article says. If they're fighting in Australia, that kind of gives Kambosos a little advantage. I won't say too much because he fought in Australia before, and David Haney, dominated him twice. But it gives him, an advantage to an extent in Australia. He's fighting at home. It's another big fight, another opportunity for both of them to make a lot of money. So I like it. But gotta get to meat and potatoes. I don't hear nobody talking about Vasily Lomachenko and George Kambosos ducking smoke with Shakur Stevenson. You know what I mean? Shakur Stevenson went to George Kambosos and told him, I want to fight you. Right? Was talking to George Kambosos and George Kambosos' dad after George Kambosos' fight. Nothing came out of that. Vasily Lomachenko said, man, I'm going to take off for the rest of the year. I'm not going to fight Shakur Stevenson. Right? Which I don't understand how the hell he got that opportunity. But that goes to show you, certain fighters, they cater to them. Especially if they white. You know what I mean? You just got to keep it a stack. So, when you look at the totality of the circumstances, these dudes both ran for some smoke. That's just what it is. Instead of them fighting Shakur Stevenson, that's a big fight on the network. They just looked at him like, you ain't ready yet. And now they gonna fight each other. So it's definitely sucks for Shakur Stevenson. But, like I said before, nobody want to talk about how these dudes avoided, Shakur Stevenson. But they want to talk about Frank Martin and everybody on PBC. But they don't want to talk about Vasily Lomachenko and, George Kambosos and all them that avoided, avoided the smoke, avoided the fight. So, like I said before, I like the fight. Not gonna lie to you, I like the fight. But at the same time, they duck. And each time, I'm just keep it 1,000. Like, you can't sit here and not say that Lomachenko didn't duck Shakur Stevenson. He simply said, I'm not fighting for the rest of the year. But then now you're in talks, or it probably been in the works. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you gonna fight George Kambosos. You know, he was like, all right, cool, well, I'll fight him next year. You know? So, but to keep it a stack, we gotta sit here and just be honest. They both ducked Shakur Stevenson. But y'all let me know what y'all think of this fight. I'm posting an article. Bust down.